देना भगवंत मान नू, एक मौका देना भगवंत मान नू। हुण मौका है जरा हंबड़ा मारो,
पहले दिल्ली में इनकलाब हुआ, अब पंजाब में इनकलाब हुआ, अब ये इनकलाब पूरे देश के अंदर फैलेगा।
Okay, so those were some of the moments from earlier today when the big wins coming in from Uttar Pradesh for the BJP and from Punjab for the Aam Aadmi Party, but a big day for the BJP, winning and holding on to 4 of the 5 states, 4 states where it's in power, is holding on, and of course AAP making that big breakthrough in Punjab. And we'll just get you all the numbers in the next 1 hour, and we'll go through it in detail with our panel of experts to make sense of what many are calling a turning point set of elections in Indian politics. But let's move right now from the big state of Uttar Pradesh to the small state of Goa, which has thrown up surprises as well. Exit polls suggested that it's going to be a hung situation, but it appears, if you look at the numbers right now, the BJP is actually sitting exactly at the halfway mark of 20. So there's a chance that the BJP may even be able to form a government on its own. But let's just go across to my colleague Rishika, because she's been tracking this there, I think, along the lovely Panjim waterfront. So Rishika, it looks like the BJP is all set to sail down the Mandovi on its own, but of course, as you mentioned, the independents, some couple of independents already supporting.
Well, absolutely, Vasu. As per the leads right now, the BJP is comfortably 118 and is leading in another 2, which is also expected to be a comfortable win for them. So that's 20 seats for the BJP. I think, they've exceeded their own expectations as far as this election is concerned. But having said that, soon after the trends became clear, at which point they were at 18, the BJP Chief Minister candidate Pramod Sawant, along with the BJP State President here in Goa, made an announcement that there are 3 independent candidates who have already enlisted their support to the BJP. So they're in a comfortable position to form the government here in Goa. And all the sort of resort politics and all MLAs being kept holed up in safe houses and resorts, all of that I think can safely end and people can go back home. But having said that, interestingly, the BJP is going to be holding a press conference at 5:30. That's in a short while from now. And when we asked, the BJP state president on what the plan of action is as far as going to Raj Bhavan and staking claim, they said they're still waiting for further instructions from New Delhi. So they don't appear to be in any kind of hurry to go to the Raj Bhavan as of today. So that's as far as the BJP is concerned. The Congress party, of course, has, their tally has been diminished compared to the last election. We heard P. Chidambaram, who was the state in charge here, in that press conference just a short while ago, say that they thank the people of Goa and that the candidates now are going to start working towards the next election from day one. So it is a bit of a disappointment, I think, for the Congress. Remember, even before the counting began this morning, they had taken an appointment with the governor, which wasn't given or confirmed, but they'd taken an appointment with the Goa governor at 3 p.m. They were hoping that they will manage to conjure up the numbers, also, manage their allies and go ahead and form the government. But clearly, that wasn't meant to be. It is going to be a BJP government. We spoke with the Chief Minister Pramod Sawant. He said that I really thank the people because it's the 3rd time that the BJP has been given the opportunity to form a government. But just a quick word on that. Earlier at the polling booth when we met him, he was holding his breath. He's won by a margin of just over 700 votes from his Congress rival.
हमारे साथ गोवा के मुख्यमंत्री प्रमोद सावंत सर हैं, जिनके नेतृत्व में एक बार फिर से गोवा में बीजेपी की सरकार बनी है। प्रमोद सर, आपसे जानना चाहेंगे, आपके नेतृत्व में एक बार फिर से बीजेपी की सरकार बनने जा रही है, किस तरह से अभी आगे का निर्णय क्या होगा, क्या बैठक होने वाली है, क्या कुछ होना?
आगे का सब कुछ निर्णय केंद्रीय पार्टी और स्टेट पार्टी लेने वाले हैं अभी कुछ देर में हम तो सरकार बना रहे हैं। 20 सीट भारतीय जनता पार्टी के आए हैं। मैं पूरे गोवा की जनता का आभार व्यक्त करता हूं, केंद्रीय नेतृत्व का आभार व्यक्त करता हूं और 3 इंडिपेंडेंट हमें सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, एमजीपी भी हमें सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं। सब हम साथ में लेके सरकार बना रहे हैं।
एनजीपी के साथ भी आपका सपोर्ट आपको मिल चुका है?
वो सपोर्ट दे रहे हैं तो हम सपोर्ट ले रहे हैं।
सर, एक सवाल ये है कि मुख्यमंत्री पद पे क्या आप बने रहेंगे? इसके आगे
तो अध्यक्ष कहेंगे।
बिल्कुल।
You know, speaking of who will be the next Chief Minister of Goa, also in the running is Vishwajit Rane. He is also won by a very comfortable margin of over 6,500 votes. His supporters, have been rallying behind him. There were kilometer-long lines of supporters, who were chanting that they want him to be the next Chief Minister of Goa. We spoke with him just as he exited the polling station. Here's what he had to say. All right, well, joining us on NDTV, man of the moment, Vishwajit Rane. It's a spectacular win for you.
Thank you so much. This is the credit to the country's Prime Minister and for all that he has done for the state of Goa. And it's unbelievable faith my people have put in me, and this victory is of the people and the leadership of the Bharatiya Janata Party, that is our country's Prime Minister. That's why we have been sweeping, and also all these guys who came into the state with all tales, and especially the Congress party and other parties who have only fooled the people in the past. Actual work, road infrastructure, road network, women empowerment, employment was generated by our government.
You're very emotional today.
I'm emotional because this is my 7th election, and people have reposed faith in me once again, and I give this is only credited to my leader, national leaders, my Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, Amit Shah ji, my Goa in charge, Devendra Fadnavis ji, JP Nadda ji, our party president in Goa, Shri Sadanand Tanawade, and all of us as a team, we have worked hard to see that BJP comes to where it is today.
What's it going to be like by the end of the day today?
I think BJP will form the government. But we should, I told you yesterday only that BJP is inching towards the majority. BJP will form the government.
And who is going to support you?
No, the party leadership will decide. The leaders are all here. They will decide. C.T. Ravi ji is here.
Are you in touch with any of the regional leaders, MGP?
Our leaders are in touch. Our leaders are in touch. Our leaders are in touch.
You've got very emotional. Your wife this was her first election.
I have not seen overall what is going on in that constituency because I was so focused, because, from this election, you found some trends which are emerging. And these are trends to be learnt. We cannot, though you get the numbers, you cannot become complacent because those trends are not good trends. I've seen some trends which are, even in my constituency, which have come up in spite of doing a lot of work. So one has to start working from day one from tomorrow. So this election is in a learning.
You credit everything to the national leadership of the BJP. You also have a family legacy. Your father, is a legend as far as Goa politics is concerned.
I've learned all the politics and everything what needs to be done for the people is from my father. So basically, he has been a father figure and a teacher, and I've learned everything from him: how to serve the people, how to eliminate poverty and the problems of the people. And I've always lived with the people. I believe in simplicity. I believe in commitments. I believe in seeing that we empower the people and not fool around with the mandate that you get.
Your supporters have been chanting, "Baba, tum CM bano."
No, my supporters, everybody, they have their own aspirations. They would like to see their leader grow, but my leadership is the one that takes decisions of what they want to do in the state of Goa.
Am I speaking with the next CM candidate?
No, it's too premature to even go in that direction because the party leadership decides all these things. I am not authorized to say anything. I want to work for the party, strengthen the party, and I'm a disciplined soldier of the BJP. Whatever party decides is fine.
Thank you very much, Vishwajit Rane, for speaking with NDTV. So as you can see, we are inside his vehicle right now, and if my camera person can just pan and show you, there has been a line of supporters, kilometers long line of supporters, people just waiting to congratulate him, get a glimpse, interact with him, shake his hand. He periodically keeps, getting out of the car, and this is
this is what it's like, and it's been like this for several kilometers right outside the polling station here in North Goa. With the camera person Sanjay Mandal, Rishika Barua for NDTV.
Okay, scenes there from Goa. Let's now go to the big state in this election, which is Uttar Pradesh, and let's actually take a look. Let's go full frame with these graphics, and let's actually get a little deeper into this with the BJP now sitting at 270, well above the halfway mark. Remarkable big win there. SP coming up to 128, not good enough. Congress virtually eliminated, down to 2, down 5, and the BSP, of course, almost disintegrating. But let's look at the story within the story, because also this was a story of alliances. So let's get the breakup of the alliances to see how the partners have done for each of the BJP alliances. And let's look at the BJP alliance. So we've got so if we can just get separately the BJP alliance. So the BJP, of course, is at 269. And then you've got the Apna Dal and you've got the Nishad party. For the Sapa alliance, SBSP has got 5. And if we can keep going with that, if we can just keep going with that, let's just see the SBSP has got 5. And the Lok Dal also was an important partner in the SP alliance. And let's look at that. So Lok Dal is at 9. SBSP is at 5. Shivam Vij is here with me. Javed Ansari is with me. Smita Gupta, senior journalist, is with me. Sarjeet Singh Dang, former minister, UP government leader, BJP, is they're all here with me. If you can just quickly get a comment from Javed and Shivam. If you look at it, so it looks like the alliance partners didn't do too badly. I mean, if you look at it from that point of view, because, you know, Lok Dal was just 1 last time. Now they've at least done a little better. But again, much below, I guess, what Akhilesh must have been expecting.
Yes, much more was expected them. They've done well, but they ought to have done better, and it's not good enough. They ought, at least in the Western UP, especially the first round, the expectation was. And one senior RLD leader told me that this time it's 70-30 in our favor. The last time it was 80-20 in the BJP's favor. Even yesterday...
Yogi said 80-20, he was saying 70-30 in his favor.
Yeah. And even yesterday that I cross-checked with him, and he says, no, don't worry, we will, the amount of seats the exit polls are giving us, we'll win in Muzaffarnagar and Shamli itself. But obviously he was way off the mark, and now the results tell that story.
And let's also get, if the graphics can show us the regions of Uttar Pradesh, where you can see how it is done in terms of region after region. But Shivam, if you look at it again, I mean, Akhilesh was smart in terms of stitching up all these alliances, but it didn't fully pay off. And if we start with the region of Awadh, so there we see the BJP is down 6, the SP has gained 13. So that's quite significant, because obviously SP is gaining everywhere, but Awadh, Lucknow, Awadh, Ayodhya, Barabanki, it is not a strong SP area.
Yeah, my sense essentially is that these are caste parties plus Muslim vote. The Muslim vote has deserted the BSP big time because of the bipolar nature of the contest. And, you know, even traditionally, even the 90s, the MY formula, Muslim Yadav, gives the SP a minimum 100 seats, and the allies with the caste votes have helped them with the rest. Now, the Jat vote, for example, in West UP, every election, last election as well, there's a lot of discussion about it. But we talk about Jats in West UP as if Jats and Muslims, that there's nobody else. But Gujjars, Kashyap, Seni, Maurya, the entire phalanx of lower OBC communities consolidate against the Jats for the BJP.
Right. So that also helps. Let's keep going through regions. So that was Awadh. Let's now go to the next region to look at what has been happening there, because it's also a story of regions. Bundelkhand is very impoverished region. This actually BJP has swept last time. 20 they got. This time they're just down by only 2. So they've actually held on to that region, though we were there and there were a lot of complaints about, you know, people were saying there's no water. We've, you know, waited for all these promises. Didn't happen, but BJP has held on. Let's keep moving now to the next region and look at what is there. And this, again, we're just Bundelkhand. If we can actually change it to the next region, and we'll come to, you know, as we're moving, I think we're going to be moving eastward now. And this is, sorry, we're going to move westward, Rohilkhand. Javed, this is actually Muslim dominated area.
Yeah, Moradabad, Sambal,
Bijnor.
Rampur, Bijnor.
Yeah. And Bareilly and so on. Here SP has actually managed to do quite well. It's almost been neck and neck. And now in the east, this is the southern part of the eastern belt. Look at that. SP is leading the BJP in this one. This is the Banaras and surrounding districts. Ghazipur, Mirzapur, Azamgarh, Balia.
Yeah, in Ghazipur, the SP is winning 5 of the 6 seats. And for the 6 seats, there's a seesaw battle. Sometimes the BJP leads by 100, sometimes the SP leads by 100.
Right. So
and
this is
an
one
area,
region where the
this is an area
SP's caste alliances also must have had.
Yeah, and this is an area which doesn't have a substantial Muslim vote. Ghazipur has only 9%, and yet they have a BSP MP.
Right, contrary. And this is also where you have Azamgarh, which is again, you know, a big SP bastion. And now if we move to the Doaba side, this is again what is considered the Yadav belt, but this also includes Agra. Here the BJP has only dropped 6 seats. So this is Agra, Mathura, Etah, Etawah, Kannauj, this whole region.
This should disappoint the SP.
This should disappoint the SP. You're right. 70 seats there, the SP could only pick up 17. And this is, by the way, after patching up with the Yadavs. So the Yadavs was the House United this time. Shivpal was on board. And yet, this is where they are. So this is the story of Uttar Pradesh. And last but not least, let's look at Western UP. And this is where I think, when you see the 17, I think a good part of that would be the RLD.
About 9 of them.
About 9. But again, it wasn't that kind of landslide. Everyone said, because of the farm protest and all of that, Jat Muslims coming together, didn't quite play out. Okay. Let's just get quick comments. Smita Gupta is here with us also, and Reena Gupta, Aam Aadmi Party, is with us. Smita, your thoughts. Where do you think that Akhilesh's karma fell short?
I think one, because it was a 2-horse election, BJP versus the BJP-led coalition and the SP-led coalition, and the Congress and the BSP collapsed. So the SP RLD would have to do very much better to be a real challenge to the BJP-led combine. Secondly, there were many unemployment, high prices, stray cattle menace, etc. But I don't think that the Samajwadi Party actually came up with any kind of proper solutions for any of these major issues. And finally, I think that eventually, even though much is made of the beneficiary scheme, the Labharti thing and the free rations, which a lot of people mentioned, I think finally it was the Hindutva card that was the sort of undercurrent to the election, that polarization hasn't gone away, and all the top leaders, whether it was Yogi Adityanath, Narendra Modi, Amit Shah, in different ways they kept articulating that sentiment.
So, let's just get Dr. Sarjeet Singh Dang to respond to that. Sarjeet Singh Dang, because, obviously no taking away from the fantastic win for the BJP, not just in UP, but in all the other states. So, congratulations to that. But this point that, of course, there may have been schemes and all that, but Hindutva played a large part in diffusing public anger against all this joblessness, economic distress, all of that.
See, look, it is an expression of trust and faith in the leadership of Modi ji, Yogi ji, Shah ji, Nadda Saab, and the state leadership, Swatantra Dev ji, Bansal ji.
But on this point about Hindutva, was that something which ended up doing damage control?
Why don't you give?
As Smita Gupta is saying.
Why don't you give credit to Sapa's comparative success, relative success? Because there was a MY factor, and the M factor was very important for them. All the learned speakers before me, they said yes. The Muslims sided with him.
Right.
Naturally, there will be a reaction, and the reaction was there. Apart from the development,
was the Sapa making the kind of speeches?
Plannings,
no, but I'm saying when it comes to making comments and speeches and making those type of divisive remarks, Was it the Sapa or was it only the BJP?
You have started it, not me.
No, I'm asking you.
And your network has been doing it times and again.
No, I'm asking you about the comments that were made during the election. Assi
during the
Bees,
election,
Abba Jan, Kabristan, Shamshan Ghat.
And what
only
about
the BJP
Baba,
was saying that.
Baba and Kaaba? What about Jinnah? Why do you forget it? See, the Sapa leadership always talked about, they put Sardar Patel and Jinnah on the same level. Why do you forget it? See, you are very comfortably forgetting it. Look, Hindutva.
Putting Sardar Patel and Jinnah.
Apart from that,
is the same
as nation comes first. This we have been telling all the times. The nation comes first.
Okay, nation comes first.
Nobody
Let us go to Adil Singh Bopara is also with us, and Reena Gupta, Aam Aadmi Party. Reena Gupta, Aam Aadmi Party. I mean, now I guess we spoke in the morning. The victory must be sinking in, but AAP has been saying from the morning that they are now seeing themselves as the national alternative to the Congress. But is that somewhat too ambitious a sort of claim to make? Because, India is a big country. Yes, you managed to win Punjab. But can you really expect to so quickly replace the Congress?
Vasu, history has been made today. If you look at, look at all the big wigs that have lost today, the Badals, the Channis, the Siddhus, and look at the Aam Aadmi Party candidates who won against all of these big wigs. These are common people of Punjab. So it's a vote for change, and it's also a vote for hope, Vasu, that good people with good intentions can get into politics and win. That's
I'm asking now of the national level, that it is being said that now you see yourself as the alternative to the Congress. AAP is kind of the new Congress, That's what I was asking about.
No, Vasu, I don't think, yes. First of all, I think there is a lot of difference between the politics of Congress and the politics of Aam Aadmi Party.
No, I meant as the main alternative to the BJP, in that way.
Yes, in that way, yes. There I agree, Vasu, but it might take us longer, but we want to do it the right way. We want to keep continuing talking about the real issues of the common people. Right. It might take us 5 years, 10 years to reach there, but we've never shied away from actually talking of the real issues. In fact, when in Delhi, when we sought re-election this time, we were the only party who had the audacity to say, "Agar हमने काम किया है तो हमें वोट देना."
Okay.
And I'm sure that we will continue to do this kind of politics, Vasu. Whether it takes us 5 years, it takes us 10 years, that is for the people of the country to decide.
Okay, Adil Singh Boparai of the Congress is here with us. Adil Boparai, thanks for coming on. Tough day for you. Punjab is your karma bhumi and your janma bhumi. But what do you make of this, Adil, that people are now saying this is kind of the end of the Congress and they're already looking at alternatives? This has been happening for some time, but this could be the tipping point.
Well, Srinathji, the problem is that some of our political adversaries are very quick to write our obituaries. But let me remind them, it is the Congress party which has a base across the country, notwithstanding the results today. As far as Punjab is concerned, I said it to your colleague Nidhi ji, that Punjab is an outlier state. There was anger against the incumbent parties, and therefore the Aam Aadmi Party, which has a relatively clean state in Punjab, was given an opportunity. But to say that, well, now we will extrapolate this to say that we will become an alternative on the national level, I think is far-fetched. The proof of the pudding would lie in whether the Aam Aadmi Party can deliver on its promises. Coming to the Congress party's debacle, I think it was most certainly an election which the Congress should have won. The Congress...
which one?
At some level because of our infighting, at some level because of the anti-incumbency baggage of Captain Amrinder Singh, we were pulled down.
No, but I'm saying it was not just a debacle in Punjab, because your national debacle everywhere. Uttarakhand, it was your turn as per the rotating strike of the history of the state. Lost it. Manipur, lost. Goa, lost. Punjab lost. So, you know,
UP 1 seat.
UP
2.
Well, yeah, 2. Yeah, UP down to 1 or 2 seats. I mean, this is, you know, red lights are flashing.
No, most certainly, this is a challenging moment. This is a challenging moment for the Congress party. I will not deny the fact that this is a setback. But please understand, it is the Congress party which has always raised Google, which has always spoken against the acts of omission and commission of the Bharatiya Janata Party, which will continue to do. We have to go to the drawing board. We have to reinvent ourselves. We have to see where we went wrong. Most certainly, if there's a debacle of this nature, we have to look at what went wrong and improvise, and which we'll do.
Is Javed, is the Congress going to split now? I mean, there's a bits and pieces attrition, but is there something big likely to come?
I doubt it will split, but a lot of people may begin to seek other options. As it
Even
is
more than earlier.
Yes, there is no denying that the AAP and Trinamool Congress are breathing down their neck. The TMC has already made its intentions clear that it's going to contest this post for the position of being the real Congress.
Who could leave though? Because you often look at the Congress and you start to wonder who's
left to leave.
Who's left to leave? Because it's just now down to sort of, you know.
No, there are people. What about Huda from Haryana? He is one person who can ensure
victory. He's a strong leader.
Yeah, he's a strong leader. He has popular base. If
Pilot is still there. Well,
yeah, Sachin is there.
Yeah.
Even Ghulam Nabi is flexing his muscles in Kashmir. So there are people there, and whoever leaves, even when Ashwani Kumar went, you know, when somebody leaves, there's a loss. Whether it's a tall leader or a not so tall leader, the fact is that you take away.
A loss is a loss, yeah.
No, but at the national level, is there a national level leader of the Congress who could split the party? Is there a national level Huda? No, the Gandhis have made a system where there is nobody left to split the party anymore.
So that's what I said in the beginning, that I don't see a split happening.
So even if the group G23 or whatever that number now has gone up or come down, if you see all of them saying, you know, we're out. Javed? No.
No, I don't think all of them, because that G23, a lot of them, some of them have been accommodated. So I don't know if that number remains at 23.
Most of them are not even mass leaders. The ones who are will move by 2024 in bits and pieces.
Right. Smita, you think a big split or implosion is coming? I mean, bigger than these ones and twos?
I don't yet see a split. I think it will be a gradual withering away. If the leadership of the Congress doesn't get its act together, it's just going to wither away with people leaving in threes and fours and ones and twos.
The challenge though is that, you know, Reena Gupta, that when one talks about this Congress vacuum and the AAP coming in to fill it, or the Trinamool, that there are vast parts of this country where there is nobody other than the Congress, right? And one keeps referring to those 200 odd seats where the Congress and the BJP fight each other 1-1 in Lok Sabha. Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, of course now you're getting into Gujarat, but all these other states in the huge heartland states, realistically, I mean, even if the AAP gets into that, it will take years, to register presence. Reena.
Vasu, there's no doubt that it will take.
Yes, sorry, Reena, go ahead.
There's no doubt that it will take. It will take time. I mean, India is a big country, and there are regional differences, there are languages, all of that. But if you were to ask me today, Arvind Kejriwal is the most well-recognized face across the country. Whether you go to Gujarat, you go to Kerala, you go to Assam, we hear of candidates winning at local level elections even in these states. So I think Arvind Kejriwal is recognized in the whole country as a representative of clean politics on his governance. And I think that is what will help us in the long run. And slowly we'll start taking this message of clean governance, good politics to the rest of the country. It will take us longer, but we are not shying away from the hard work that we need to do. We'll be at it, we'll do it the right way.
Okay. You'll be at it and you'll have... No, Javed, like I said, realistically, Congress Mukt opposition. Who is going to fight the BJP in 2024 in all these states? It will have to perforce be the Congress.
Vasu, let's face it, there is no political party which can on its own take on the BJP, even dream of taking on the BJP. Unless all of them band together, only then can there be a fight. And that's not going to be easy. That's a very, very tall order because there are huge problems.
No, I'm saying even if they band together, they are not there in those states.
Yes.
So there is no point of Mamta and Pawar and all these people.
That's the point I'm making, that together. All of them, it can't be at the expense of one party or the other. Unless all of them come together, even then there is no guarantee that they'll be able to put it past the BJP. That's the
fair enough. Yeah, and especially after today, it's just even more.
Sometimes when there's a vacuum, you'll be surprised how fast the vacuum fills itself. I mean, Akali down to 4 seats in Punjab. Who could have thought? This is a party associated with
BSP
Punjab,
down to 1 in UP.
But remember, that is after the BJP losing now. This is what would be. It's lost almost every election since 2007. So it's that many defeats before you become irrelevant in Punjab as well. You're right. Well, it's taken the Aam Aadmi Party close to 10 years.
2 election cycles.
In
the long run of history, that's not much.
Yeah, in the long run of history, it's not much.
Yeah, but if you keep losing...
But these are small... Remember, Punjab, small state, contiguous to Delhi, AAP to say expand into a Madhya Pradesh or... It's not, I'm saying nothing is impossible, but it's easier said than done.
The biggest mistake AAP can make right now is to go state after state. Gujarat, Himachal, Haryana. Right. What they need, they shot to fame with the national agitation, the Lokpal movement. What they need is a national positioning. Similarly for Congress, Congress will not do well in states until it revives itself nationally. The national sentiment has been there.
That's what AAP perhaps also mistake last time. Expanded too fast and then burned their fingers and reset. Okay, take a short break. Come back with more. Welcome back. Let's get you now live pictures from BJP headquarters in Lucknow, where the Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath is expected to arrive any moment and address, party workers, address the media. And his cavalcade has apparently already left from his residence and is on his way to the party headquarters. So there we can see Yogi Adityanath, a big, remarkable victory there, winning 2 terms in a row. And highly unusual after decades in Uttar Pradesh. Let's just go full frame now and stay with these latest pictures coming in from Uttar Pradesh. And let's get all our panelists for a quick comment now. Javed, now this is obviously a big turning point for Yogi Adityanath. He was somewhat in the peripheries of the BJP Sangh Parivar ecosystem, and now he's right at the center of it. Where does he go from here now?
Well, his position, his stature has clearly risen within the BJP, and after Mr. Modi and Mr. Amit Shah, I think you can safely say that it's Yogi Adityanath. It's a standout performance. And before the elections, there were so many things that appeared to have come together against the BJP, especially against Mr. Adityanath.
But now
nothing appears to have
mattered.
mattered.
Direct question: when you say he's number 3, is he number 3 or number 2? He's still number 3.
No, it's more. To my mind, it's Modi and Amit Shah, and it's only then. The first 2 positions are reserved for the gentleman from Gujarat.
But if you look at the ultimate succession plan, because they will at some point they'll have to think about life after Modi, then who will it be? Will it be Yogi or will it be Amit Shah?
Well, a lot of things. It depends on how Mr. Amit Shah is, I mean, his health-wise. But ultimately, it will be Yogi.
Right. Shivam?
No, I mean, whether it's Modi or Shah or Yogi for the BJP to decide, is for the RSS to decide. But in terms of public popularity, there's no doubt that Yogi Adityanath is a top Hindutva icon today, and he's wanted more than he's a bigger mass leader already, I think, than Amit Shah.
Okay, Smita, what's your take on this? Because we're now talking of the next stage. This is kind of the post-Modi BJP. Will it be Amit Shah or as number 1 or Yogi? After today?
Yogi. It will be Yogi because...
It will be Yogi. I see.
While I was traveling, one of the things that a lot of Yogi Adityanath supporters and BJP people generally were saying is that, the next general election will be won by Narendra Modi. By 2026, he'll be 75. And that's when Yogi Adityanath will become the next prime minister. So they don't see Amit Shah, they just see him as, like an assistant to Mr. Modi. They don't see him as this mass leader who will take on the leadership. And Yogi Adityanath himself is an extremely ambitious man. If you recall last year when Mr. Modi had tried to shift an IAS officer called Mr. Sharma, retired or somebody who took premature retirement to UP to be his eyes and ears, Yogi Adityanath fixed Mr. Sharma, made him the vice president of the BJP state unit, which we as know is a non-job really, and made it clear to both Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah that he was the boss in UP.
Right. Look at those pictures now from BJP office. Dramatic video there coming in of Yogi Adityanath reaching the BJP office. Crowds of supporters there. Let's try and get a little bit of the sound up as well, so we get a flavor of what's going on there. And Dr. Sarjeet Singh Dang is still with us. BJP.
Yeah.
Yes. Dang Saab, looking at these pictures now, what is your take on the kind of post-Modi BJP? Will it be Yogi as number 2 or Amit Shah?
See, it's a very tough question. See, ultimately, the party leadership at the time of making a decision, they'll make the decision. Both of them are equally capable, equally popular, and now Yogi ji has shown, after 37 years, he has reigned as a CM for 5 years, the whole term. And the second term, the public have given him. So, all these things, it depends upon that juncture of moment, what the party will decide. But both are popular, equally
What is
popular.
your, as a political observer, what is your own preference or thinking?
See, both of them are being sought out as speakers and as, campaigners in almost all these states. So it's very difficult to make a decision who is more popular. But both of them are popular, capable, determined. Everything is there. So any one of them can, after Modi ji leaves his seat, after becoming 75 years of age, any one of them can lead the country as a prime minister.
Okay. Fascinating. Look at that. Look at those pictures there. And there'll, by the way, be an action replay later this evening at the BJP headquarters in Delhi when the Prime Minister will most likely come and address supporters there. But one of the challenges, Javed, is when one talks of Yogi Adityanath being somewhat, as I said, not the most central figure in the BJP ecosystem. On several occasions, he didn't even fight on a BJP ticket. So he's not an organization man in that sense. He'll have to have that link with the organization.
Well, he has time. He can develop those links.
The
reason why I put Mr. Amit Shah ahead of him is because Mr. Amit Shah has a total grip on the
iron grip on the party.
He's the nuts and bolts man.
And he's, and the party is everything in the BJP. Colleague Sanket Upadhyay is able to join us now from Lucknow as well. Sanket, we're looking at these dramatic pictures from BJP headquarters where Yogi Adityanath has reached and is likely to address the crowds very soon. But give us your sense of where now Yogi stands in the national sort of scheme of things for the BJP. Okay, we'll just come back to Sanket in just a second. We'll just get their audio. Let's get a little bit of audio there from the BJP office though, and listen to what's going on. Okay, so Holi has come early, as Javed was saying in UP, or especially for the BJP. You can be fair to say that Holi is what now? Just about 10 days, week away. जैसे कहते हैं ना, जम के मनाई जाएगी इस बार.
Absolutely.
After this huge victory, but just now tell us, Sarjeet Dang Singh ji, one thing though, Keshav Maurya, he's been trailing in Sirathu in his seat. We'll have to check the latest on that. In fact, I'll ask my team if they can even pull up Keshav Maurya and the personalities. We have a set of slides and that will give us an idea of where he stands. But that's an interesting, Sarjeet Singh Dang ji, interesting that you have Keshav Maurya, who's in a sense almost like a kind of political rival to the Yogi. He may even lose his seat. We don't know.
See, look, democracy is...
and there he is actually now.
It has shown results.
It has shown results. One thing, there is Keshav. Let's go full frame with this. This is the kind of shot of the day. Full frame on this with the audio of the BJP's winning team in Uttar Pradesh. There's Keshav Maurya, Yogi Adityanath, Swatantra Dev Singh, the state BJP president, with the big surge of crowds. Okay, Sanket, Holi has started at the BJP office. Over to you.
Oh yes, absolutely, Vasu. Holi started in the afternoon only. In fact, there were some holy colors put on us also, me and Alok Pandey, and it was all saffron. So that sea of saffron one can see at the BJP party headquarters. What you see right now, and you asked me a question before I lost that connection. You asked me a question on where does this leave Mr. Yogi Adityanath. So Yogi Adityanath is now officially, if he was not already, among the top 3 or 4 in the national scheme of things as far as the BJP is concerned. Remember, at a time when the BJP was sacking chief ministers left, right and centre, changing the entire governments, full cabinet was being made to resign and then brand new chief ministers were being inducted. This was a chief minister who stood his own, and even a Narendra Modi could not replace him or change him. It is very clear now that post this victory, and when you see the show of strength, just a quick reminder and just also a quick method of explaining how important he is. Last time in 2017, when the BJP won 325, the big show of celebration happened at the old office of the Bharatiya Janata Party in Lutyens, Delhi. And the Prime Minister gave the very famous statement that this is the beginning of new India. Yogi was nowhere in the mix. Yogi was not declared as the Chief Minister back then. This time around, the first celebration has been kicked off in the BJP party headquarters in Lucknow, not Delhi. The Delhi celebrations will happen later. The PM may speak later. But Yogi and his show of strength is happening right now. That explains the importance. Also, there is a bit of a Kodak moment that you see right now. All the conversation of the Deputy Chief Minister not, in league with the Chief Minister. A very, very specific attempt being made by the BJP to show tonight, to show this evening that this was always a united house, which it wasn't, by the way. That this is a united association of people and they will remain that way. So it's very, very important messaging that is happening from the Bharatiya Janata Party right here at their headquarters in Lucknow.
Okay, so right, like you said, all that is water under the bridge, under the Gomti river, and now, as we can see, they are fully now in holy mode, and they've actually started playing what is, I think, the BJP, Sanket, was this the BJP's official or unofficial campaign song? जो राम को लाए हैं हम उनको लाएंगे.
that's playing.
Yeah.
This is not an official song actually. This was made by someone, Mr. Mittal, Kanhaiya Mittal from Haryana. But it caught on so much from the west of UP that by the time it reached the east or the central parts of UP, it became an anthem. And it has been playing in each and every rally where Mr. Mittal, Kanhaiya Mittal, was live performing at the Prime Minister's event, Yogi Adityanath's event. And this song is playing even now. Interestingly, Vasu, something very interesting I heard in the songs which have been made, I am pretty sure, only this afternoon. Because there is no other explanation how a song can be so up to date.
Achha.
Only very recently I heard blaring from the loudspeaker, 22 में आए हैं, अब 27 में भी आएंगे. So, Yogi Adityanath
No, this could have
is
been
already
made
planning 2027.
This could have been made and kept ready in the event of victory, right? Like you keep your laddus and mithai ready, and if it
Perhaps made in 2017.
Quite possible. I agree. I never considered that. Quite possible that they must have kept this song ready, but you know they put it to good use. Unlike the Samajwadi Party, which would have also planned something similar, but I guess the song may have to wait till 2027 maybe.
But one
in
thing,
the Bharatiya Janata Party headquarters in Lucknow, extremely electric.
Right, but just Javed, so जो राम को लाए हम उनको लाएंगे. So the religion, there's no gap now. Religion and politics, it's not even an argument to make. That
distinction evaporated a long time ago. It's only that we are slowly beginning to recognize it. The fact is that the tone and tenor of this country, particularly of UP, has changed. And the sooner we recognize it, the better it is for all of us. The Prime Minister, while addressing senior officers, once told them that हमने जन का मन बदल दिया. He firmly believes that, and there is evidence of this.
Well, I think this is the first election after the approval of the Ram Mandir and the beginning of the construction, so this is always going to be a factor. We knew this. In fact, I would have expected it would have played a bigger role, even bigger, in the campaign, which it did not.
So the signalling and the coding was there throughout, and I see it as what I call the Jai Shri Ram test. How many times and how often do you hear Jai Shri Ram in a BJP rally? And one heard it it's now the default slogan at most BJP rallies. So for those who say this was not an issue, Ram Mandir nahi tha, usme mudda. I mean, it was front and center.
No, it's always a part of it, but it's not the only factor. There's also free ration. There's a mix of things.
There's a bouquet of issues, but this was the foundation on which everything else was built. This formed the foundation.
Many bricks that build the house, but there is Yogi Adityanath now, Sanket, he is trying somewhat almost vainly to remove all the color, rang which has been put on him before he presumably comes and gives some sort of a victory speech. But Sanket,
since the afternoon, the BJP has been in celebration mode.
Yes, Sanket,
they're playing
yes,
Holi.
Go ahead.
Holi has come in a week too early. It is very, very clear. Just very briefly, the point that you were making about Ram being the issue. So it has been a bouquet of issues or strategies for the Bharatiya Janata Party. One cannot conclude that Ram helped them sail through. The song may have played a pivotal role, but the Bharatiya Janata Party, maybe after the second phase, very, very strategically spoke extensively about law and order, about red alert, Lal Topi. While there was Abba Jaan and 80-20 happening, see, that script kept playing. They never gave it up. But then there was a wide variety of options to choose from as far as the electorate was concerned. Whatever pleases you about our government, please take your pick, because we are going to talk about everything. So it was a sort of a mocktail of issues that the BJP presented in front of the people. And right now, if you see, every person inside the BJP headquarters today is some sort of a psephologist who's turning around and saying or telling people, I told you so, the Labharti scheme worked for us, women are voting for us, Muslim women are voting for us, which the Prime Minister, by the way, mentioned. lots of things. All this talk about Brahmins going away, where will they go? And today, you know, Vasu, I heard something very interesting from a senior minister of the Yogi cabinet. And he said that, you know, when you know, this whole thing about massive crowds at Akhilesh's rally, I think I found that comment of that BJP minister very, very impressive. He said that there was a time when lakhs and lakhs of people used to come.
Bharat Mata ki.
People would come. Yogi Adityanath is speaking. Let's cut to that.
Vande. भाइयों बहनों, प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के यशस्वी नेतृत्व में आज पूरे देश के अंदर उत्तर प्रदेश, उत्तराखंड, मणिपुर और गोवा में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की प्रचंड बहुमत की सरकार बनने जा रही है। इन 4 राज्यों में प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के विकास और सुशासन को एक बार फिर से जनता जनार्दन ने अपना आशीर्वाद दिया है। मैं इस अवसर पर सबसे पहले आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का, आदरणीय राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष जी का, माननीय गृह मंत्री जी, माननीय रक्षा मंत्री जी और अपने उन सभी नेताओं का हृदय से अभिनंदन करता हूं जिनके नेतृत्व में भारतीय जनता पार्टी प्रचंड बहुमत के साथ 4 राज्यों में पुनः अपनी सरकार वापस लाने में सफल रही है। उत्तर प्रदेश देश की आबादी का सबसे बड़ा राज्य है। इस कारण उत्तर प्रदेश पर विशेष रूप से पूरे देश और दुनिया की निगाहें थी। आज भारतीय जनता पार्टी और भारतीय जनता पार्टी के सहयोगी दल, अपना दल एस और निषाद राज पार्टी उत्तर प्रदेश में प्रचंड बहुमत के साथ आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के मार्गदर्शन और नेतृत्व में फिर से प्रचंड बहुमत प्राप्त की है। इस प्रचंड बहुमत के लिए उत्तर प्रदेश की जनता जनार्दन का हृदय से अभिनंदन, हृदय से आभार। और मैं इस अवसर पर भारतीय जनता पार्टी और विचार परिवार के उन कोटि कार्यकर्ताओं का अभिनंदन करता हूं जिनके नेतृत्व में और जिनके परिश्रम से आज भारतीय जनता पार्टी को अपने सहयोगी दलों के साथ इतना प्रचंड बहुमत के साथ प्रदेश में सरकार बनाने का अवसर प्राप्त हुआ है। भाइयों बहनों, पहली बार 7 चरणों में हुए उत्तर प्रदेश विधानसभा के चुनाव शांतिपूर्ण तरीके से संपन्न हुए और संपन्न होने के साथ ही आज मतगणना के बारे में जो तमाम प्रकार के भ्रामक प्रचार पिछले 2-3 दिनों से चलाए जा रहे थे, उत्तर प्रदेश की जनता जनार्दन की ताकत ने उस भ्रामक प्रचार को दरकिनार करते हुए आज भारतीय जनता पार्टी और सहयोगी दलों को प्रचंड बहुमत से विजयी बनाया है। आप सबको मैं इस अवसर पर बधाई देता हूं। भारत निर्वाचन आयोग को शांतिपूर्ण तरीके से इस चुनाव को संपन्न कराने के लिए हृदय से धन्यवाद देता हूं। चुनाव की प्रक्रिया से जुड़े हुए प्रशासन और पुलिस विभाग और अन्य सभी संबंधित विभाग के सभी कार्मिकों को भी हृदय से धन्यवाद देता हूं कि जिन्होंने कोरोना जैसी महामारी के बावजूद शांतिपूर्ण तरीके से लोकतंत्र के इस पर्व को संपन्न करने में अपना योगदान दिया है। उन सबका भी मैं हृदय से धन्यवाद देता हूं। भाइयों बहनों, हम आभारी हैं आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के, जिन्होंने उत्तर प्रदेश को पूरा समय दिया और उत्तर प्रदेश के विकास के साथ साथ उत्तर प्रदेश जैसे राज्य में सुशासन की स्थापना के लिए किए जाने वाले हर एक प्रयास में आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का मार्गदर्शन और सहयोग सदैव प्राप्त होता रहा है। आज आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी, माननीय राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष जी, माननीय गृह मंत्री जी, माननीय रक्षा मंत्री जी, केंद्रीय मंत्रियों और केंद्र भारत सरकार से जुड़े हुए सभी मंत्रियों के साथ ही सभी पदाधिकारियों के सहयोग से जो ये प्रचंड बहुमत भारतीय जनता पार्टी को देश के सबसे बड़े राज्य में प्राप्त हुआ है, एक प्रचंड बहुमत भारतीय जनता पार्टी के राष्ट्रवाद, विकास और सुशासन के मॉडल को उत्तर प्रदेश की 25 करोड़ जनता का आशीर्वाद है और इस आशीर्वाद को हम सबको स्वीकार करते हुए आम जनमानस की आकांक्षाओं के अनुरूप सबका साथ, सबका विकास, सबका विश्वास और सबके प्रयास के इस मंत्र को अंगीकार करते हुए निरंतर आगे बढ़ाना होगा। आपने देखा होगा भारतीय जनता पार्टी की डबल इंजन की सरकार ने 5 वर्षों से लगातार उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर सुरक्षा का जो माहौल दिया, उत्तर प्रदेश की आस्था को सम्मान देने का जो कार्य किया, उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के मार्गदर्शन में विकास के कार्यक्रमों को जिस मजबूती के साथ आगे बढ़ाने का कार्य किया और साथ ही साथ गरीब कल्याणकारी योजनाओं को प्रभावी ढंग से आगे बढ़ाने के लिए जो प्रयास प्रारंभ हुए हैं, आज उसका परिणाम जनता जनार्दन ने जातिवाद, परिवारवाद, वंशवाद की राजनीति को पूरी तरह तिलांजलि देते हुए 2022 में भी भारतीय जनता पार्टी को प्रचंड बहुमत के साथ ये विजयश्री उपलब्ध कराई है। भाइयों बहनों, कोरोना कालखंड में भी बिना रुके, बिना थके, बिना टिके और बिना झुके आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का मार्गदर्शन और उनका नेतृत्व आज भारतीय जनता पार्टी के एक एक कार्यकर्ता को यशस्वी इस जीत के साथ यशस्वी बना रहा है, क्योंकि एक एक कार्यकर्ता इस जीत का हकदार है। नेतृत्व आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जैसे दुनिया के लोकप्रिय नेता के हाथ में मार्गदर्शन और उनके यशस्वी नेतृत्व में जो कार्यक्रम विगत 5 वर्ष के अंदर उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर लागू किए गए, आज उसका परिणाम हम सबके सामने है। आप आश्चर्य करेंगे कि उत्तर प्रदेश जैसे राज्य में 2 करोड़ 61 लाख से अधिक गरीबों के घरों में शौचालय बनना, 45.5 लाख गरीबों के लिए एक आवास बन जाना, उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर 1 करोड़ 43 लाख घरों तक बिजली पहुंचाना, 10 करोड़ से अधिक गरीबों को 5 लाख रुपए की स्वास्थ्य बीमा का कवर मिल जाना, 15 करोड़ गरीबों को इस संकट के समय, कोरोना जैसे संकट के समय उनके घर तक राशन की व्यवस्था उपलब्ध कराने के लिए संकट का साथी जब डबल इंजन की भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार थी, तो दुनिया के अंदर या तमाम एक षड्यंत्रकारी जब हम कोरोना से लड़ रहे थे, जब हम भ्रष्टाचार और बेईमानी से लड़ रहे थे, तब ये लोग भारतीय जनता पार्टी के खिलाफ साजिश रचने का कार्य कर रहे थे, सरकार के खिलाफ साजिश रचने का कार्य कर रहे थे। और आज जनता जनार्दन ने अपने जनादेश के माध्यम से उन सबको एक बार फिर से सबक सिखा करके उनकी बोलती बंद करने का काम किया है। और हम सबको अपने कार्यों के माध्यम से एक बार फिर से साबित करना है कि राष्ट्रवाद, सुरक्षा, विकास और सुशासन के मुद्दे पर भारतीय जनता पार्टी को जो प्रचंड बहुमत जनता जनार्दन ने दिया है, हम सबकी जिम्मेदारी बनती है कि इस पर हमें फिर से खरा उतरना ही होगा। और इस से एक बार मैं फिर से उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर शांतिपूर्ण चुनाव संपन्न होने और जनता जनार्दन ने जो इसमें व्यापक अपना समर्थन दिया है चुनाव के प्रति, हमने देखा है खासतौर पर आधी आबादी, माताओं ने, बहनों ने, बेटियों ने आगे आकर के भारतीय जनता पार्टी को जो प्रचंड बहुमत दिया है अपने सहयोगियों के साथ में, आज इसका परिणाम है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी इतिहास बनाने जा रही है। उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर इतिहास बनाने की ओर अग्रसर है। ये इतिहास जब यशस्वी नेता होता है, नरेंद्र मोदी जी जैसे यशस्वी नेता के नेतृत्व में जब प्रचंड बहुमत का बहुमत प्राप्त होता है, ये प्रचंड बहुमत आज इसकी परिणति के रूप में हम सबके सामने प्रस्तुत करता है। आज के इस अवसर पर मैं एक बार फिर से अपने दोनों सहयोग प्रदेश अध्यक्ष श्री स्वतंत्र देव सिंह जी, दोनों सहयोगियों, वरिष्ठ सहयोगी श्री केशव प्रसाद मौर्य जी, डॉक्टर दिनेश शर्मा जी, अपने सहयोगी दल निषाद राज पार्टी के अध्यक्ष डॉक्टर संजय निषाद जी, मंत्रिमंडल के अपने वरिष्ठ सहयोगी श्री सतीश महाना जी, श्री ब्रजेश पाठक जी और डॉक्टर महेंद्र सिंह जी, पूर्व प्रदेश अध्यक्ष डॉक्टर लक्ष्मीकांत वाजपेयी जी, प्रदेश संगठन के महामंत्री श्री सुनील बंसल जी और प्रदेश के हमारे संगठन के प्रभारी पूर्व केंद्रीय मंत्री श्री राधा मोहन सिंह जी की ओर से पूरे प्रदेश वासियों का एक बार फिर से इस प्रचंड बहुमत के लिए हृदय से आभार और अभिनंदन करता हूं और विश्वास व्यक्त करता हूं कि ये जीत हमें जवाबदेही का एक नया संकेत भी देता है। हमें जोश के साथ साथ होश को बनाए रखना है और इससे भी मजबूती के साथ हमें आम जनमानस के आकांक्षाओं के अनुरूप एक बार फिर से अपने आप को साबित करना होगा। हम सबका सौभाग्य है कि हम सबके पास दुनिया का सबसे यशस्वी नेता आदरणीय श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी का नेतृत्व और मार्गदर्शन है। उनके मार्गदर्शन में, उनके नेतृत्व में उत्तर प्रदेश देश का नंबर 1 प्रदेश बनेगा। इस विश्वास के साथ हम सब एक बार फिर से 25 करोड़ जनता की सेवा के लिए अपनी अपनी भूमिका का निर्वहन करेंगे। मैं एक बार फिर से आप सभी का हृदय से अभिनंदन करता हूं, आपके उत्साह के लिए आपका आभार व्यक्त करता हूं और शांतिपूर्ण चुनाव संपन्न करने के लिए इसमें उत्साह के साथ भागीदार बनने के लिए उत्तर प्रदेश की जनता जनार्दन का आभार, भारत निर्वाचन आयोग, उत्तर प्रदेश के निर्वाचन से जुड़े हुए सभी अधिकारियों का, प्रदेश के चुनाव से जुड़े हुए पूरे प्रशासनिक और पुलिस तंत्र का और उन सभी का जो प्रत्यक्ष और अप्रत्यक्ष रूप से लोकतंत्र के इस महापर्व को शांतिपूर्ण तरीके से संपन्न करने के लिए योगदान दिए हैं, उन सबको हृदय से धन्यवाद देता हूं। आप सबके प्रति मेरी शुभकामनाएं। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद। जय जय श्री राम। जय जय श्री राम। जय जय श्री राम। गाना चलाओ, गाना चलाओ, गाना। जय जय श्री राम।
The man of the match today, many would say, for the BJP, Yogi Adityanath, the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, making his victory speech at the party headquarters in Lucknow, among other things. He has talked about the support that the party got from women, which is what seems to be bearing out on the ground as well, talking about how the BJP delivered on promises to the poor despite COVID, and also, of course, complimenting Prime Minister Modi's leadership for leading the BJP into this historic victory in Uttar Pradesh. This is a big win, not just because the BJP has come back with a comfortable majority, but also because they've come back at all. In Uttar Pradesh, remember now, it's been more than 3 decades since the incumbent government came back to power. So this really is a big moment for the party and for Yogi Adityanath himself, whose own stature now has risen within the party, the first among equals or the first among the BJP CMs now very, very clearly after Mr. Modi and Amit Shah at the top. So Yogi Adityanath's own personal stature has definitely risen as well. We're expecting Prime Minister Modi to address BJP party workers at about 7 o'clock this evening at the party headquarters in Delhi. This is something he does do when the party wins big in state elections. So similar scenes expected to be played out within the next hour or so. We have Sanket Upadhyay, who's in Lucknow for us. 2 veteran journalists here, Shivam Vij, who's been travelling to UP, Punjab and elsewhere during this campaign. Mr. Javed Ansari also in the studio with us. Sanket, to you first. You know what Yogi Adityanath was talking about there in terms of what worked for the BJP. This is what you were saying as well, the support from women, the various schemes, and of course the strident Hindutva campaign, which was still very much there along with all of this.
Right, Nidhi. See, the thing is that for the BJP, as far as BJP is concerned, this entire campaign, the entire election has not been about any one identity. It has not been only about Modi, or it has not been only about Yogi. It has not been only about Hindutva. It has not been only about law and order. It has not been only about women voters or only about Muslim voters, Muslim women or Brahmins or only Jats. There is nothing only as far as the BJP's campaigning was concerned. It was a mixture of all, and very smartly articulated mixture of all. Phase by phase. You notice how from phase 1 and phase 2, the discourse completely changed from hijab and 80-20 to law and order. And also that famous song, Jo Ram Ko Laaye Hain, that kept playing. Apart from that, there was a very, very strong concerted focus in disseminating information about the people who have benefited from the government schemes. Law and order, as I said, was a huge issue. We noticed in village after village after village a very heated, animated discourse where people would say that yes, there is a problem with unemployment because of COVID, but at the same time, at least people are alive. Now, whether this is, a perception was created, whether this is the truth or not, the Samajwadi Party tried to counter the law and order claim. But it seems that in the world of perception, the BJP was successful in communicating this message to people right down to the villages. And I think that is what has worked. So in one sentence, it is not any one issue, but a mixture of all issues that the BJP very smartly articulated over the 7 phases that has worked for them.
Interestingly, and I'll just get Shivam Vij here, that, given that the farmers' agitation and the farmer issue was such a big thing in Western UP, why do you think it sort of played out the way that it has, there? Because was it that they were happy that the farm laws were repealed, or what was it?
No, I think the RLD has won about 9 seats or so. Last time they won 1, and the RLD vote share of the Election Commission website right now is some 3%, despite fighting only 26 seats. So I think it's very clear that Jat voters have moved away from the BJP in some numbers, if not large numbers, in Western UP. But when we talk about Jat voters in Western UP, we make the mistake often of presuming that there are no voters other than Jat in Western UP. There are Gujjars, there are Mauryas, Sainis, all the lower OBCs consolidate against the Jats, and the Jat Muslim Alliance makes it even more of a counter consolidation. And this time the Jat Muslim Alliance, thanks to SP and RLD, has worked. So it's not as if it's not worked. If nothing had worked, the BJP would still have won 312 seats, right? And the allies would have won some more. But something has worked, something has changed, not enough to make a difference. But the BJP is not 300 par this time, and so one of the contributing factors.
It's not 300 par, Javed Ansari, but so what? I mean, you come back.
That's just
a win is a win.
Debate.
Yeah, exactly. So why did Akhilesh Yadav why was he not able to capitalize, according to you, on anti-incumbency issues like jobs, the COVID, handling, etc. There were issues that were very much there. So what happened?
Look, one, there was no counter narrative. Two, the social broad basing that he attempted was not broad enough or not as wide enough to take on what the BJP already had in place. In Western UP, where, and he'd be particularly disappointed with the SP's performance in the Doab region. That's their stronghold. That's where Etawah, Mainpuri, this is the area where they ought to have done much better, which they didn't. In Eastern UP, they've held their own. In Eastern UP, they've made gains, significant gains. In Ghazipur district, they won 6 out of 7 seats and may, at the end of the day, end up winning the 7th seat as well. Om Prakash Rajbhar has added some amount of votes to the SP's kitty. Not every other, Mr. Swami Prasad Maurya obviously couldn't bring enough to the table. So what he put together was not enough to put it past the BJP. And this impression, even on issues like law and order, if you look at the Crime Bureau statistics, they clearly point to a very different picture, that more rapes, that more communal riots have taken place, but nobody was buying that because the BJP's narrative, the BJP's counterpoint was so powerful and so vigorous that people bought into it hook, line and sinker, although facts may be quite different.
All right, I have to take a break at this point. Much more to talk about, including what these election results will also mean for other parties. It's not just UP, but Punjab as well, that are going to have bigger repercussions at the national stage as well. We'll be back after just a couple of minutes. Welcome back. You're watching our special coverage of Election Day, and in just about 30 minutes from now, we are expecting the Prime Minister at the BJP headquarters. So we will be hearing from him on this big Election Day for the BJP, winning not just in UP, but 4 out of the 5 states where assembly elections were held. I'm going to go back across to my colleague Sanket Upadhyay in Lucknow for more on that big story. Sanket.
That's right. Let's get you an NDTV and coup presentation. But before we do that, let's cut across live to Pramod Sawant of the BJP speaking in Goa.
बाकी जो सब चुन के आए हैं, बाकी पार्टी के लोग भी जो चुन के आए हैं, उनका भी मैं बहुत अभिनंदन करता हूं। गोवा के विधानसभा में पहली बार बाकी पार्टियां ने भी एंट्री की, उनका सभी को मैं अभिनंदन करता हूं। और मैं माननीय अपने पार्टी के जनरल सेक्रेटरी श्री रवि जी को रिक्वेस्ट करता हूं, आपको संबोधित करें।
सभी को नमस्कार।
एक कोकणी मराठी साहेब बोल।
मंच पर उपस्थित गोवा प्रदेश अध्यक्ष श्री सदानंद तानावडे जी, गोवा मुख्यमंत्री श्री प्रमोद सावंत जी, महाराष्ट्र पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री, विपक्ष नेता चुनाव प्रभारी देवेंद्र फडणवीस जी, सह प्रभारी केंद्र मंत्री श्री किशन रेड्डी जी, केंद्र मंत्री श्री श्रीपद नाइक जी, पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री रवि नायक जी, मंत्री विश्वजीत राणे जी, नरेंद्र सावेकर जी, दामू नायक जी, इधर आए हुए सभी पत्रकार बंधुओं, गोवा में गोवा जनता आशीर्वाद दिए बीजेपी के ऊपर भरोसा रख करके। सभी गोवा जनता को पार्टी के तरफ से विशेष रूप से धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूं। हम लोग राष्ट्रवाद का विचार, स्थिर सरकार और विकास का मुद्दा लेकर वोट मांग लिए थे। गोवा जनता प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के ऊपर पार्टी अध्यक्ष श्री जेपी नड्डा जी के नेतृत्व में देश भर, गोवा में पार्टी अध्यक्ष सदानंद तानावड़े जी, मुख्यमंत्री प्रमोद सावंत के नेतृत्व में वोट दिया है। फिर एक बार मतदाताओं को धन्यवाद करता हूं। साथ साथ सभी कार्यकर्ता कड़ी मेहनत करके हम लोग टास्क दिए थे, बूथ जीतेगा तो चुनाव आसान से जीतेगा। सभी कार्यकर्ता वो टास्क, हमारा टास्क बन करके बूथ जीत के दिए। इसके लिए हम चुनाव जीता हूं। ये टीम वर्क के कारण हम लोग 3 महीने से हर कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी स्टडी करने के शुरू किए। उसके बाद
So that was Mr. Pramod Sawant from Goa who was speaking to journalists. We're also getting you visuals of Amit Shah, Home Minister, reaching the BJP Delhi headquarters. This will be a big moment for the party's central leadership to have won so many assembly elections, 5 very crucial assembly elections, of which the BJP has won a majority. As we stay on those pictures, let's also tell you on the coup app, many leaders have been cooing. Sukhbir Singh Badal is a politician from the Shiromani Akali Dal. He says, as president of the Shiromani Akali Dal, I congratulate the Aam Aadmi Party and AAP Punjab and their leader Bhagwant Mann on their victory in the Punjab polls. I offer them my sincerest good wishes for success, and I am sure they will live up to the people's expectations. Shobha Karanlaje, she's a Union Minister of State for Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. She says, the BJP has rewritten history. I bow to the people of Uttar Pradesh for blessing the BJP with a historic victory and reaffirming faith in the Modi-Yogi government. Bhagwant Mann, who was all set to be the next Chief Minister of Punjab, also is cooing. He says, thank you from the bottom of my heart to the people of Punjab for giving the verdict in favor of change and honest politics. Let's get you those pictures of Amit Shah at the BJP central headquarters in New Delhi. In just a short moment from now, in actually exactly half an hour from now, we are expecting the Prime Minister. He is going to address a gathering. But Yogi Adityanath, the man who is going to change or alter recent political history of Uttar Pradesh by coming back, an incumbent coming back in UP and remaining Chief Minister, he came to the party headquarters in Lucknow. Let's listen in to what he had to say.
सभी पदाधिकारियों के सहयोग से जो ये प्रचंड बहुमत भारतीय जनता पार्टी को देश के सबसे बड़े राज्य में प्राप्त हुआ है, एक प्रचंड बहुमत भारतीय जनता पार्टी के राष्ट्रवाद, विकास और सुशासन के मॉडल को उत्तर प्रदेश की 25 करोड़ जनता का आशीर्वाद है.
All right, let's quickly go back to those pictures from the BJP central headquarters and let's quickly line up our colleague Arvind Gunasekar, who will join us from the party headquarters. That's Amit Shah as well as JP Nadda, two people who have played a very, very crucial role in this win in Uttar Pradesh. And I'll tell you why. Because for the first time in any political party's history, Amit Shah, who's the former BJP president, JP Nadda, who's the present BJP president, and Rajnath Singh, who was the BJP president and then now is the defense minister, also hails from Uttar Pradesh. these three people were made booth in charges in Uttar Pradesh. Apart from the fact that many senior ministers and MOSs, Minister of State in the Modi government, all were given specific responsibilities to ensure that the BJP wins. The idea behind me saying this is that if Mr. Yogi Adityanath may want to credit himself, though he is not, if you listen to what he is saying closely, he is not crediting himself, but to Modi and to everyone. The point is, it's a collective effort that was made by the BJP, by the entire top brass, and some decisions which no other political party has ever made. Even the BJP has not made it in its political history. To get so many senior leaders to manage booths. So the BJP has managed about 270. Counting is still going on, so the final figures are not out yet. As far as the Samajwadi Party is concerned, I guess there is a bit of a consolation prize here. It's not all lost for Akhilesh Yadav. And I think the answer to this question, or to this phrase, a justification, lies in the vote percentage. While the Bharatiya Janata Party has marginally increased its massive vote percentage from 39% to 41.5%, around 42%, it is Akhilesh Yadav who has given the best performance till this date for the Samajwadi Party since its very inception, since 1992. The Samajwadi Party never in its history has got 32 to 33% vote share. It is unprecedented. The biggest problem is that while Akhilesh increased his vote share by 11 or 12 odd %, the BJP, which was already at 39, increased it by 2 more or 2.5 more. And thus you see the result. Had the BSP performed well, or had the Congress performed well, this result could have been very different. As we said, in 2012, Akhilesh Yadav managed 225 only with a vote percentage of 29%. So you can notice how just a little bit of arithmetic here or there can change the dynamics in Indian politics. Let's quickly play out this exclusive interview of Anupriya Patel with my colleague Saurabh Shukla.
हम इस वक्त लखनऊ में हैं और हमारे साथ काफी खुश अनुप्रिया पटेल जी हैं। अपना दल सोनेलाल की प्रमुख हैं और बीजेपी की महत्वपूर्ण घटक। अनुप्रिया जी, बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं, बधाई आपको। और आप लोगों ने, आपके एनडीए ने लगभग जीत दर्ज की है, रिकॉर्ड बनाया है। कैसा महसूस करिए, क्या लगता है कि आप लोगों को कम्युनिकेट कर पाए और आप लोगों के पक्ष में गया?
मैं तो शुरुआत से ही ये कह रही थी कि एनडीए गठबंधन उत्तर प्रदेश में फिर सत्ता में वापसी करेगा और एक ऐतिहासिक जीत दर्ज करने की ओर हम हैं। रुझान बड़ी तेज़ी से हमारे पक्ष में आ रहे हैं और मेरा यही मानना है कि हमने 5 साल जिस तरीके से उत्तर प्रदेश के जनमानस के लिए काम किया, एक डेवलपमेंट का मॉडल प्रस्तुत किया, चाहे महिलाओं के लिए हो, चाहे जो हमारी गरीब जनता है उसको केंद्रित करते हुए तमाम किस्म की योजनाओं का लाभ आज हर सामान्य व्यक्ति तक पहुंचा है। और जब बेनिफिशियरीज को लाभ मिला है, जब आम मतदाता के जीवन में एक सकारात्मक बदलाव हुआ है, तो उसके कारण उनके मन में एक विश्वास पैदा हुआ है और इसलिए एनडीए गठबंधन को दोबारा उन्होंने आशीर्वाद दिया है।
आप लोगों का स्ट्राइक रेट हमेशा अच्छा रहा, इस बार भी काफी अच्छा चल रहा है स्ट्राइक रेट। आप लोगों ने ज्यादा सीटें मांगी और लड़ी भी, तो क्या किया आप लोगों ने, कैसे मनाया बीजेपी आला कमान को और जमीन पर क्या स्ट्रैटेजी रही है आपकी?
स्ट्रैटेजी बड़ी सिंपल होती है। जो पार्टियां, जो लीडरशिप, जो कार्यकर्ता निरंतर जनता के बीच में सक्रिय बने रहते हैं, उनसे जुड़े रहते हैं और जनता के मसले, उनकी समस्याएं समझते हैं और उनके लिए बिना कैलकुलेशन के लड़ते हैं, उनको जनता भी खुले मन से स्वीकार करती है। मेरी पार्टी का रिकॉर्ड है, हम जिन सिद्धांतों के लिए खड़े हैं उसके लिए लड़ने से कभी पीछे नहीं हटे और हमने चाहे 69,000 शिक्षक भर्ती का प्रकरण हो, चाहे नीट का प्रकरण हो, चाहे कोई भी न्यायालय में हमारे पिछड़े वर्ग की भागीदारी सुनिश्चित हो, हर मसले पर आवाज़ उठाई है। हमारे समर्थक, हमारे शुभचिंतक, हमारा वोटर हमारे साथ खड़ा है और हमारी पार्टी का इसीलिए विस्तार हुआ और जो विस्तार हुआ तो हमने पूरे उत्तर प्रदेश में अलग अलग कोने में सीटें लड़ी भी और स्ट्राइक रेट दिख रहा है कि बेहतर हो रहा है।
आपके लिए थोड़ा सा मुश्किल था, आपकी मदर और सिस्टर समाजवादी पार्टी से लड़ रही थी। इनफैक्ट आपने प्रतापगढ़ से अपनी मदर के खिलाफ अपना कैंडिडेट वापस ले लिया, वो एक मुश्किल बात थी आपके लिए भी?
मुश्किल तो होता है और माँ के खिलाफ मैं कभी चुनाव नहीं लड़ूंगी, माँ के खिलाफ मैं कभी प्रत्याशी उतार भी नहीं सकती। माँ ने जब घोषणा की, हमारा सिटिंग एमएलए था, हमने तय किया हम वहाँ चुनाव में नहीं जाएंगे, हमारा कोई कार्यकर्ता प्रचार नहीं करेगा, मैं स्वयं वहाँ प्रचार नहीं करूंगी, मैंने नहीं किया। बाकी सब कुछ तो मेरे हाथ में नहीं है, लेकिन मेरे हाथ में जो भी था मैंने किया, और उनके लिए अभी भी मैं ईश्वर से प्रार्थना ही करूंगी।
All right, let's now go across live to my colleague Arvind Gunashekhar joining us from the Central BJP headquarters in Delhi, where there is a lot of action happening. Arvind, what are you seeing there?
Sanket, the celebrations here at the Deen Dayal Upadhyaya Marg has already begun. Prime Minister has just reached along with the senior officials of the BJP here at the BJP national headquarters, where we can see on our screen the SPG officials who are part of Prime Minister's security detail are already here. So we are at the back gate of the BJP headquarters. The party workers have already gathered here. So Prime Minister will be addressing the party workers somewhere around 7 p.m. That's what we have got a message from the BJP headquarters. So this is a very important celebration for the BJP, because after a splendid performance in the recently concluded assembly elections, out of the 5 states, BJP has managed to retain power in almost all the 4 states. Except Punjab, they have done exceedingly well. Let it be Uttar Pradesh, let it be Goa, let it be Uttarakhand, and also in Manipur. So almost out of 5 states, BJP has managed to retain power in almost all the 4 states that they were in power. In Punjab, Aam Aadmi Party has come to power. So Prime Minister will be addressing the party workers somewhere around 7 p.m. Ahead of that, he is currently meeting with the senior BJP leaders, taking a review of the performance of the party, because earlier we were told that it might be a tight contest, especially in UP and also in Goa and also in Uttarakhand. But the BJP National President JP Nadda, along with the BJP General Secretary organization, that is BL Santosh, both of them have given the credit for the Prime Minister for his campaign that has actually turned into a massive victory for the party in the almost all these 4 states. So BJP a grand celebration is currently being planned here at the national headquarters, where almost many party workers have already gathered here. It's dance, music, color, Holi, everything is happening here at the BJP headquarters, and the Prime Minister will be addressing the party workers somewhere around 7 p.m.
Arvind, are they playing Holi there too? Because that's pretty much what is happening here in Lucknow.
Yeah, Sanket, it's similar scenes here at the national headquarters of BJP, similar to what you are seeing in Lucknow office of BJP. Here, almost party workers from different part of the national capital are already here celebrating the victory of the party. What we saw, dance and also music and also giving sweets to all these people who have gathered here, and also Holi is being celebrated here. For BJP, the Holi has come just ahead of the schedule, and people here celebrating the victory of the party. In fact, a splendid performance by the party, especially in UP, where the party has managed to get more than 260 seats. Let it be the leading and also winning seats, almost 260, over 260. Yogi Adityanath, who is the incumbent chief minister, has scripted a history of returning to power again for the second time consecutive term. So that's a big celebration for the BJP. Not just the UP, even in Uttarakhand, the party has done exceedingly well. Let it be Goa. Goa, everyone thought that it will be a very tight contest for the BJP, but the BJP has done well. They have managed to form the government. They are in talks with the independent and also MJP, but what we are being told is that a BJP will be staking claim for the government in Goa also. Uttarakhand, without the support of any independent or anyone, BJP themselves have got somewhere around close to 40 seats. Again, a splendid performance in Uttarakhand also. Manipur, it's a completely routed. The BJP has managed to form the government in Manipur. So out of 5 states, BJP has won 4 states, retaining the power in almost all these 4 states.